start working on my own projects. Many great projects involving technology. The very first dial-in-the-joke machine ever in the San Francisco Bay Area. I saw Pong in a bowling alley, and I was stunned. I said, I want this. Oh my gosh. I could never afford something like a printer, which is the output device of a computer. Input and output devices cost a fortune. I would never be able to save that much money. But all of a sudden I thought, my gosh, I have a television at home. I know all the television signals from high school electronics. I can build any little computerish device in the world with my knowledge. I'll build a little machine that puts dots on the TV set that are balls and paddles and plays Pong. And I built a little device with 28 $1 chips that played Pong. Well, Steve Jobs came back from college in Oregon, and he saw it. And he took my board, my design, down to Atari. And I don't know if they knew I designed it or if they thought he designed it, but they gave him a job on the spot. So now he was working at Atari. Steve, he was very young. And he was like a lot of young people you know. They're just sort of too much energy, and they just want to talk to anybody. They want to throw their opinions into every decision being made. That impresses high-up people sometimes in companies. Steve was always able to impress high-up people, but it gets on the nerves of other people. You know, that Steve's challenging the ways that they do things that they've been doing for 10 or 20 years, and they know what they're doing. So they had to move Steve to the night shift, where he worked all alone by himself. And I didn't know that at the time, but looking back, I can totally understand it. Steve came to me and said, Atari is tired. The owner of Atari doesn't like the fact that their games, their arcade games in those days, are taking, it was hardware, not software in those days. They're taking 90 chips, 110 chips, 130 chips, 150 chips, 190 chips for a game. And they know that I design things with almost no chips at all. I had become so skilled. I was known for the skill of Packard too. So Steve came and said they wanted me to design a one-player version of Pong for Atari. Atari was in Los Gatos, California, where I live now. Los Gatos, California is very proud of having been the birthplace of arcade games. But Los Gatos is even more proud of a different invention that came out of our town, which was the pet rock. Some of you might have had a pet rock in time. Probably still own it. So I went in, and Steve said, okay. I said, I would love to design this game for Atari. I'll design a game that young kids that I love so much are going to play in bowling alleys and in arcade centers. And Steve said, there's a hitch. You have to do it in 4 days. This was a man-year project. 4 days. Okay, I was the hottest designer in the world in my mind. And I told him I didn't think I could do it, but I would take the challenge on. And I sat down, I did not sleep for 4 days and nights. I got mononucleosis, the sleeping sickness, and so did Steve Jobs. And I came up with some clever designs my way, and we delivered a board to Atari for the game Breakout, where you hit balls against bricks. So that was mine. While I was there, I was in a sleepless state. My mind is kind of going in and out, not knowing exactly what's real all the time. And all of the games on the floor had these big old televisions, the old style hot televisions, and they were all black and white TVs. One of the video games on the floor had a little dot moving from left to right and right to left, just going back and forth on the screen, changing colors. And I thought, oh my God, did they actually make a color version? Color television was very difficult and exotic. It took like $1,000 for all the parts that obeyed differential calculus rules to mix sine waves of the different colors and phases and brightnesses. It was so difficult to build. Did they do it? No, they just had little Milo strips, red, green, blue, yellow, on the TV set. I couldn't even figure it out, but I went back to the lab bench, and I was sitting here, and Steve was wiring up my design over there. I designed everything. And actually, that was a good partnership. You know, after Steve ran into somebody like me, there was no sense for him trying to be a designer of anything, because I would always crank out great design. So I was sitting here kind of thinking, color TV, and I thought, what is color TV anyway? Well, I went back to high school electronics. It's a signal that goes up and down, just like waves. But it goes up and down at exactly the right rate. And a TV thinks it's color, if it does. It can be on top of a whole bunch of other jiggling signals doing other things, but if inside of that is a signal going up and down at exactly the right rate, it's color. And then something popped in my head. What if I put out zeros and ones? That went 0, 1, 0. 1 is up, 0 is down.